Hi, I'm Bill Bradley. Join me for a recent excerpt of American Voices. Here in American Voices, we celebrate all the country has to offer. So after hearing about people's life stories, we want to celebrate the land. So each week we invite authors to talk about a favorite place or sound in the country. This time, former NHL announcer Doc Emrick is back. His new book is Off Mike, How a Kid from Basketball-Crazy Indiana Became America's NHL Voice. Here's Doc Emrick.
Hi, this is Mike Emrick. My favorite place in America is a walk that I take on the north side of Boston from a hotel near Christopher Columbus Park through Faneuil Hall Marketplace to TD Garden to go to work. I am from a small town, and I grew up loving sports and nature and being fascinated by history, and that's why this walk is so all-encompassing, because I get a little bit of each. You know, ours is a life that is in total contrast to big city life and to big city events. But I've been blessed to get to do what I really wanted to do in life since I was 14, was to be a hockey announcer, and I got to do that. And I counted myself really lucky. But there was a part of me that liked not only what went on in big cities, but also liked the fact that within big cities there were places of peace, like parks and historic places that you could walk to that were lower key, and that's what this was like to me. The walk itself is about a mile, and there are several stops along the way because I often run into people that I know, and part of the reason that I allow at least an hour or so to take this walk, even though it's a mile, is that there is a lot to enjoy about it, even though it's a work day. Normally it's around 2 o'clock because I need to be at work at 4, and so I will start by going down an escalator inside the hotel, rounding the corner, and taking a look to see if a friend of mine named Chip is leading 5 dogs through the lower lobby of the hotel, because he is a professional dog walker. And as I leave the hotel, directly in front of me is Christopher Columbus Park, a large green area right on the harbor of this great city of Boston. He will be leading these dogs out to exercise them, because that's what he does, and I'll watch him sometimes throw a tennis ball and they will chase it. But if not, I will just continue on and watch people, usually in June, because the Boston Bruins are a good team and they're often playing in June. And people will be stretched out on blankets reading books, and some will be throwing footballs. And toward the end, there is a restaurant called Anthem, and occasionally I'll stop in to see whether one of the guys behind the bar named Walshy, who loves to talk about British football because he's from Ireland. And we'll chat for maybe a moment, and he loves to talk about the Bruins because that's where I'm headed to go to work on a Bruins game. And then we'll continue on, and that's right at the end of the South Marketplace, right where you turn in front of historic Faneuil Hall, and I'll see those doors open, and you just can imagine how many times those doors have opened over how many decades and how many centuries, because there was a lot of very famous public speaking that took place there. To the right and headed down one of the oldest streets in America, Union Street, it goes back to the 1630s, and the reason that I know that is because there is a restaurant that claims to be the oldest restaurant in America called the Union Oyster House, and these streets that I'm walking on are all cobblestone. Those streets are probably just as wide as they were 250 or so years ago. That's why Boston has its history and its charm, because it hasn't been able to expand very much. It's governed by all the water that's around it, and it's just stayed in one place for that reason. And when you're walking past the Union Oyster House, you'll notice that red, white, and blue is under your feet, because you're all a part of that great American trail that winds its way through Boston, the red, white, and blue painted bricks of the Freedom Trail. But as you go by Union Oyster House, there's a more somber recent note, too, and that is the 6 not-too-tall glass-towered New England Holocaust Memorial, which is on the left, and that symbolizes the 6 years of the Holocaust and the 6 camps and the 6 million who died, and there are quotes that are written on those glass panels from survivors of each camp. One of the reasons I really like the walk is that it's a social event as well as one, I wonder what I'm going to see today. There may be an acrobat out there, or there may be a mime, or maybe a juggler or a magician or a musician or someone out right near the Quincy Marketplace. And I wonder what that'll be like. So there's time to stop and watch it for a little bit, too. So that it really does wind up being a walk of great comfort and joy, in that the whole thing combines nature and animals and history and sports. And those are all things that I enjoyed, and they all are combined in the walk, which is, it's terrific. You can't have it any better than that.
Thank you for listening to American Voices here on my YouTube channel. For more interviews celebrating the goodness and creativity of the American people, click the subscribe button below.